So I'm going to go through the restoration process. I'm going to use this bike. It's my RD350lc. Looks in great condition, and it is to a certain extent. It is 9 years since I restored it, so this is my go-to bike. I used to ride this quite a lot. So it is tired. The top end on the engine isn't there. I've done that. I'm not expecting to see any problems in the engine. But I will go through the process I use here is the same process I use on bikes which are in extremely poor condition when they come. So first thing I do is photograph everything. Okay, so you go top to bottom, end to end, you photograph everything, and you do that for two reasons, I think. One, so you've got a before and after picture, and whether you're restoring a bike to as new or even better condition, just simply giving it a wash and brush up to make it look better, or even if you're just getting it running, you should be deeply proud of that. That's a real achievement to be able to do that, and so you should have a record of it. The other reason you photograph it all as well is for record, right? And what I mean by that is that the bike as arrived may not be as built, right? And you need to get the clues to tell you that. So to give you an idea, I will typically take maybe 20 photographs before I start the process. When you add all the photographs together, because every time something comes off, like I take a tank off or take the side panel off, I'll photograph what's behind it. Then I'll take those pieces, the hidden pieces off, I'll photograph what's behind them, and you just keep going. So we're into the hundreds of photographs, certainly 100 and something, but probably near the 200. And that's a really important record now. What you also need to go along that with is as built. Okay, so there are a couple of sources for that. One is just go on the internet and look at pictures. Sometimes they're quite difficult though to interpret. The other thing as well is get yourself a workshop manual. Now for bikes like this, they're readily available. You can get them anywhere. When you get to bikes like the NSR250, you have to look, but they're still there, and indeed you can get even better information. Like I've got a complete workshop manual for the NSR250. And the third place is a site such as CMS-NL. The other place that I like to have a quick look at before I start is inside the tank, because that gives me a lot of information about how much work I'm going to need to do, or how expensive it's going to get. So this is a one key fits all bike, by the way, always nice. So we can, I don't know how well you can see that, but it's nigh on perfect. And so that's the tank and the side pieces off. Photograph again, right? Just have a look around the bike, see if there's anything shouting at you. One of the things is this. These are the rubbers which the tank mounts to. You can see that they're vulcanized, so they're starting to split. They are still quite resilient, but I will change those. Okay, and the reason for that, because if you don't, because there's the potential movement there, if these have vulcanized or there's not the resilience in them, you can damage the paint on the bike. Okay, so we want to take out the tool tray that just comes out. Okay, oh, that's good. So there should be, the things should be mounted in there. So the tool tray, yeah, these things for a while became incredibly rare, really difficult to get hold of, and then they started to pattern make them. So I think you can get these relatively early now, easily now, but they used to be really quite difficult to get hold of. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll start taking it apart. Next thing that comes out will be the battery. I'll get the battery out. Need to have a look at it, see what the electrolyte levels are like. If they're down, I'll fill them up, and then we'll give it a charge, and we'll see how it holds the charge. See if it's any good. Hopefully it is. Yeah, not good. I don't know how well you can see that, but the black is the actual level, so you can see it's way down. And what can happen when the battery's that bad is you get sulfating of the plates. It's not good. I'd be lucky if I can get this one back, but we'll give it a try. So what we'll have to do is we'll fill this up with distilled water. Obviously it's got to be distilled, otherwise you contaminate the battery. And then you have to, I'll have to see if the battery charger can do this. But what you do is a reconditioning charge. So what that is that the normal charge levels, what, about 13.2, 4 volts, something like that. You actually charge it around about 14, 15 volts, something like that, 14.8 or something. And what that does is it literally shocks the plates and causes the sulfate to detach from the plates and go back into solution. Yep, so that's good. When I filled it up with water, there was no voltage on it because one of the cells, at least one of the cells, was empty. Right, so I filled it with water and immediately I got voltage. I got about 11 volts, which was a surprise, I'll be honest with you, but it was there, so that's a really good sign. It did look quite sulfated when I looked inside. Now, you probably know this, but a battery charger like this one, the battery must be pushing out a voltage, because otherwise its polarity check doesn't work and it just won't start. Right, so I do have, and I thought I was going to have to use this, I do have an old, if you like, manual one, the ones that like people of my age grew up with. So they're literally dumb, they just push out the voltage, it doesn't matter what the battery is doing, they'll just always push out the same voltage, which is fantastic for a dead battery. So many occasions I've had to use that just to get 8, 9, 10 volts in a battery, and then I'll swap it over to this modern one. So it is on reconditioning mode, I don't know if you can see that there, right, and what that's doing is it's pushing in around about 14, just over 14 volts, 14.2 or something like that. The dog again. Alright G-Bone, coming now. Right, this is why I can't get anything done. Yeah, so it's about 14.2 volts. That's a little bit low for reconditioning. You know, we used to run about 14.8, something like that, for a very short period of time, because one of the things I would say from a safety aspect is that this is pumping out hydrogen at the moment, okay? So make sure it's well ventilated. When you go back to your normal trickle charge, again, should be in a well ventilated space, but the risk is much less. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not going to knock your house down, right? But if you get a localized gas pocket, and it is lighter than air, it will rise. But if you get a localized gas pocket and switch something off, right, you can get a nice big pop. Okay, scare the crap out of you. Yeah. So let's carry on with the bike. So the studs come out with the nut, and that's not right, obviously. So when I put this back together, I will Loctite the stud in the hole. See there? Need to check that out. What we'll do is we'll check the hole out, make sure the hole's in good condition. So now we'll take off the rear bracket, which is here. 13 mil. So there is a resilient mount in this as well, and as always, make sure you check it out. Get it off. So I always put bolts back when I take them off. Okay, they only come off completely when they go for plating. Okay, so that's that exhaust off. Super lightweight, these really are. But other than that, oops, you probably can't see. They're super lightweight. So these things here, I'll get these plated. I'll think about the spring. I've got lots of spare springs, to be honest, but I'll do all this. It's actually not too bad. It's not pitted. It's just corrosion, little small corrosion cells. So clean that up, get it repainted, and that's going to be absolutely fine. That's very good, in fact. Happy with that one. Right, I'll take the other one off, and then we'll do the oil. So I pulled one of the tie bars off just to allow me better access to the drain plug. Just trying to find the spanner by feel. Okay. So don't forget to take the filler cap out, help it vent. Yeah, so battery died, so I don't know if I've ever got that, but just a quick check on see what it's charging at. So about 15.5 volts, that actually seems quite high. Now when it's bubbling away. So we'll just see what the residual voltage is like. This'll fall down because so we're way up there, we're 13.5 volts. We expect it to tail off. So I'm going to force this onto a normal charge mode because, as I say, I don't want to leave it at boosting at that. So it's now on its normal charge, so that should be significantly less. Wow. Really? 14.6 volts. So the next fluid we need to remove is the coolant, so we'll take off the radiator cover. Yeah. I'll loosen it that much and I'll take the radiator cap off so it breathes. And then it's probably going to come out of So the radiator is mounted with 4 captive nuts like this. I've used flanged Allen bolts. I'm not sure what was original, but you can't see them, so, and they do lie nice and flat, and they are stainless steel. Now for some reason this one actually has a nut, so something's happened to this. I can't remember what, but I think if I'd spotted it I would have made the nut captive. So I'll have a look the condition of the powder coating. If it needs doing again, I'll weld on a nut, a captive nut. And that's the overflow pipe there, which is all neatly cable tied on. So that needs to come off first before we can pull the radiator off. Does it want to come off? There you go. Right, so now it'll come off. What's that pipe? Let's have a look at the radiator. Inside looks very clean. Little bit of stuff. There's some missing fins down here, so it is an older radiator, which I must have just painted. But it looks okay. Looks very nice. Rubbers all appear to be pretty good. But we'll check those, and any doubt, just replace them. Don't. It's just not worth it for the amount of money they cost. That's a battery box off. We just had to pull the indicator, solenoid, and the fuse off. Disconnect the. Looks like a voltage regulator. So I need to remove the 2-stroke oil tank from the lubrication tank, and that means either draining it or removing this pipe. So there's that one, which is too big for this. But you do get smaller ones, and I do have smaller ones, but I don't know where they are, I'll be honest with you. I can use these, which actually work out pretty well. They're only cheap, these, really cheap. but the problem is that the pipe is actually quite hard, and if I clamp it, I know I'm going to basically crush it and damage it. Yeah, so I didn't plug it, didn't have to. I just looped the pipe back into the tank. It's amazing the things you remember after a while. So a good design of these, they have a catch here that allows you to tilt the tank out, so it makes it easier to fill, so you don't have fuel going everywhere. Just disconnect that catch, and then it just sits on two rubber mounts. So again, have a look at the rubber mounts, make sure that they're still resilient.